Zel Boy Army, welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different, but I think it's one that you guys are going to find interesting. I'm talking about some of the issues with ranked FIFA. Probably not even going to touch into all of them today, but anyone who's subscribed to the channel, looking at this channel for advice on how to get better, you're in the right place. But if you're looking to get better, you're also into ranked play in FIFA, I guess, because I'm not talking about the esports side of things today. I'm talking about playing FIFA any level competitively, from rivals to FUT Champs, the ranked modes in FIFA where you get a set ranking, say anywhere from silver to top 100 in FUT Champs, and then in rivals you obviously have a division that you're in. So that is FIFA's equivalent of ranked mode compared to other online games. And I want to say before we really get into the video that I'm talking about these issues because I really care about this game. I've dedicated a lot of my life over the last few years to this game, trying to help you guys improve as a community. And maybe EA will never watch this video, who knows, I hope they do. But there's a lot of issues with the game that I think need fixing to make it a far better experience. And I'm not just talking about for pros, for casual players, hardcore players. I think some of the things I'll talk about, if they fixed them, could be things that would help a lot for the general user base. So the first one that we're going to begin with, and it's one that affects pretty much everyone I've seen, especially on Xbox at the moment: disconnects and glitches. I've spoke to so many people. I think at this point a good 2/3, 3/4 of people that I speak to have not just suffered one or two disconnects over the last couple of months, they've suffered numerous ones. Disconnects themselves are very demotivating, and we'll get to this point a bit more as we go on into the video, but in a structure where one win can make the big difference, losing out on a disconnect that 95% of the time is not your fault is heartbreaking for so many people. Whether you miss out on top 100 for it or miss out on gold 3, it makes a big difference. And when you've put 7 to 10 hours of time in to just miss out on a rank for a DC that wasn't even your fault, it's just demotivating. For me, during team of the season, 4 out of 7 of the weekends, if I had not DC'd and none of the DCs were my internet, all of these games I was winning, I would have got top 100. The money that I would get off content, selling the rewards to YouTubers, the coins I would pack so I could use far better teams to make content with for YouTube videos, player reviews, have a better team for my Twitch streams. The effect it had on my content over the last few months has been pretty devastating. But it's not just about pros who miss out on top 100. It's about people who put a lot of their spare time into this game because they want to get a competitive, fun experience, and they miss out on their ranks. Everyone gets affected by this, it seems. The disconnects for me, it's a big server issue. But there also seems to be no loss glitches. If there is, and I've heard a lot of people say there's pretty much confirmation there is, I don't know how to do them. I don't want to know how to do them. I don't want to encourage anyone to do them, because if you're doing that, in my opinion, it's just cheating. And as a community, we should be looking to better the game and make it a better experience for everyone. Glitches, things like that, really frustrate me and piss me off. They're just something that shouldn't be in the game. EA, though, are as much to blame as the people doing these glitches, because they should not be in the game. Apparently, the one that's going around has been in the game for years. It's still something EA haven't fixed because it doesn't cost them money. I had a game this weekend. I was 4-0 up or something. I was unbeaten at this point. The guy pauses it, and 2 seconds later I get 2 error messages, which effectively mean the guy had done a glitch against me. No fault of my own. And by the way, when I talk about the disconnects, every single one's been when I was winning. If you disconnect when you were winning, you should not get the loss. Because who quits when they're winning? No one quits when they're winning on this game. And EA need to add a rejoin feature. COD, Rocket League, League of Legends, I'm sure plenty of other games have it. They have a feature that if you disconnect, and normally it's not because of your internet, you will be able to rejoin the game. They should do it like Footwiz Dan once said to me, like I can't remember, like a reconnect bank or something he called it, where you get 10 minutes a weekend, and from the second you disconnect, you can reconnect and you have 10 minutes to do it. But you can only, if you use 2 minutes, then you only have 8 minutes left for the rest of the games. Yes, it might get annoying if someone uses 10 minutes against you just to piss you off. However, it's not going to happen that often, and it's a far better solution than weekends being ruined by DCs, in my opinion. The no-loss glitches obviously need to be fixed, and I really hope EA make an effort for next FIFA in particular to really resolve those. It's just very frustrating. DCs and glitches should not be a major worry in a competitive game mode. Number 2, servers and general gameplay. So we're talking about servers anyway, and we're talking about glitches and disconnects. But even if you don't get a disconnect, the amount of times that I can say I've had great gameplay is minimal. I have the best internet money can buy where I live. I get 400 download, 30 to 40 upload. You could have 10% of both of that, and that should be more than sufficient to play FIFA online. Don't have any issue ever with streaming. Don't have any issue with other online games. It's just FIFA. FIFA say it's because of the internet provider you have. I'm not accepting that one. My internet provider is completely fine with everyone else. And so many people from different countries all across the world will say the same about gameplay. It's not an issue anyone seems to say about other games. FIFA is supposed to be a AAA game. They need to put a massive emphasis into fixing the servers. And it's not just, I don't think it's even just the servers, I think it's the netcode within the game. But as long as you have a gaming experience where you can press a button and it takes a second to do it, it's going to be a major issue. Then you have games where you play someone where they clearly have great gameplay and you can barely move. And it is an absolute challenge to just get through those games. And at the end of the day, it's not fun. General gameplay being slow and delayed is really unrewarding. I've hit 30s this year, where at the end of it I've said I've not even enjoyed it, even though I've won every game, because I've just been sat there bored, struggling, barely edging games out against people that I know I should have beat by a few more goals. And it's just frustrating and doesn't make it fun. This one now is a big one, number 3, the reward structure. The reward structure on Weekend League is so outdated now. There's literally a rank Elite 2, which is irrelevant. The difference between getting 23 to 26 wins is quite big. That's winning 10% more games, but you get 30,000 more coins and that's it. I believe that reward should be tiered, so it should be from 1 win all the way to 30. So 1 win gets you this amount, 2 wins gets this, 3 wins gets this 4. So you always have something to play for. People don't want to just give away 3 wins. If you're on 23 wins with a game left, you want to play for an extra 10,000 coins and maybe a pack. Make it so player picks, if you hit 30 and 0, you get 1 player pick that during tops is like a 96 plus. If you hit 29, you get one that's 95 plus, 28, 94 plus, etc, etc. These type of things are going to make people far more motivated to enjoy the game, because they're going to be playing for proper rewards, not just a chance at good rewards. During TOTS, I packed across 2 accounts, hitting top 100 and Elite 1 minimum pretty much every time. I packed, and this is over 14 weeks, some of the best rewards in the game. I packed 99 Lewandowski on my PS and 99 Messi on my Xbox. It's not the worst. I've seen people who've done a lot worse. I've seen people who've done way better. Messi was in the last week. If I'd not packed him that week, it would have been a devastating 2 months of rewards for me. And then you see some people have 99 Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe's 98, Neymar. I've seen people with 5 or 6 of the top tier cards. I don't have an issue with other people getting good rewards. The issue with the fairness and the lack of good rewards that me and many other players seem to get. Don't just make it a chance. Make it so if you get high rankings, you get rewarded for it. And I'm not saying don't give good rewards to lower ranked players. I want everyone to have good teams. But it needs to be a proper motivation to get those higher ranks and be rewarded for it. The current system, 1 game is just too important. You can miss out on top 100 because of a disconnect. You can miss out on Elite, which is an extra player pick, because of a disconnect or 1 game where you just got really unlucky. Of course, it's not just that 1 game, it's other games you lost, but the general point stands that 1 game shouldn't be such a drastic change in rewards. This is more of an issue for top 100 players, but in the current competitive mode of FUT Champs, skill rating often decides if people hit a top 100 or not. We've never really had a proper breakdown of skill rating, what it is. all I can gather is the earlier you play your games, the higher your skill rating is, because you have more chance of matching better people generally, which somewhat seems fair for skill rating. But then I've had weekends where I've played 4 or 5 pros who have been on for top 100 on a Sunday, and I've barely got any skill rating for it. So it doesn't really seem to make sense at that point. It shouldn't be literally down to just when you play people. Because if you play 10 pros on a Sunday and no pros on a Friday, you should be getting more skill rating for being the pros who have great records. So no real breakdown, transparency on the mode and how it works is an issue in itself. Then we move from FUT Champs to Rivals. And EA kind of combined the two by giving you Rivals points for playing Weekend League. I somewhat get the logic behind this idea, because not everyone's going to have time to play during the week, but they're separate modes. You should not give points for Rivals, in my opinion, for Champs, because all this does is it just makes people... I get 5 minimum games a week where people either stop trying properly, they put their controller down with an elastic band around it, just so they can stay in the game and just get the 400 Rivals points at the end. Because if they lost a game of Rivals, they'd get less than that anyway. I had one weekend where I had 3 games where I scored and went 1-0 up very early on, and they just put an elastic band around the controller. That was nearly an hour of my time wasted just because the people were losing against me. It may be a bigger issue for me than the average person, but it definitely happens to everyone where this type of stuff can happen. People don't quit or play properly because they know they'll get the Rivals points. It's not a fun gaming experience, and they don't get punished for it. In no other game that I've ever played do people do this, because there's not a system in place that rewards it. You should not get Rivals points tied to Champs for that. And if people are doing this, they need to come up with some sort of system that can detect it. Surely it can't be that hard to detect that the controller's just doing one single input. And then obviously at the same time you just have people who still play, but they're just not trying properly at all, and it's just not fun. It ruins the experience for anyone. And when you're already trying to grind through 30 games, and you could potentially have anywhere from 5 to sometimes up to 15 games like this, it's just not good at all. Rivals as a mode is great in practice. I love the idea of the mode of I don't want and don't think it's a good system for higher ranked players to just be shitting on lower ranked players who they're better than. You should be playing people at your level in general in competitive game mode, and that's fine. But for one, the rewards are shocking. If you go on tradable packs, there's a good chance you won't even get the coins worth back that you spent on fitness in Rivals if you grind it to get the good ranks. In 2 years of Rivals, and this is someone who's in Div 1, so I get the ultimate packs, I've pretty much most weeks for the last 2 years got either 1 tradable ultimate pack or 2 untradeable. I generally go for the untradeable. I got Son recently from actually rank 3 where I got a mega pack, and that was the top Son. That was brilliant. Before that, genuinely, my best pull from 2 years of Rivals rewards was an untradeable gold to Stegen. It is just not worth the grind. I'm not saying I want EA to be giving Tots Ronaldo if you play 30 games a week of Rivals, but it needs to be a more rewarding system. At the end of the day, Ultimate Team's about improving your team. And it's hard to improve your team without spending a lot of money. Maybe that's why it's like that, because that's what EA want. But under this system, it's just so frustrating where you grind all week in Rivals and you maybe even lose coins because of the fitness that it costs. The objectives in this mode are dumb. This ends up making people troll, lose games on purpose, quit out of games, so people go from Div 1 to Div 5. And it is just not a fun experience for a person in Div 5 actually trying to play the game and get better, playing someone who's 4 divisions better than them and just getting destroyed. This puts people off the game and makes people not want to play it. There should be a separate mode for the objectives. The objectives are a cool idea, but they shouldn't be based in a competitive mode like Rivals. I don't know where that logic came from EA. Maybe it's because there's no other modes really to play at the moment. But EA needs to come up with a mode that people can chill out on during the week. Rivals as a game mode is good, and I like it, but it's not fun to just sit and play that all week. And the only other real option you've got is draft mode. If you play draft, you're probably going to lose coins even if you win every draft. The last one, and I've kind of touched on it a bit, is that people want ranked competitive play, and that's good. And FUT Champs and Rivals have been a step in the right direction compared to FIFA 16 before we had these, and it's been good from EA. But like I said, there's lots of ways that they can improve it, and they need to be honest, for the sake of the game and making the game as good as it can be. And EA should want that as a company. They should strive to be the best company and game that they can be. But also, it's supposed to be a game that's fun. Ranked competitive play all the time, for most people, is not what they want. Most people want it online when they're playing, but they don't want it all the time. Give us some fun, chill game modes to play during the week. Maybe even make draft, so there's a mode where you can enter for free, but there's no rewards. You can just play for fun and try different players out. Bring Volta 5-a-side into FUT. Little things like this, and I'm sure they've got other ideas that they could do that would make it a far more fun gaming experience. Ultimately, ranked competitive play is good, but like I say, fix the issues that I've talked about. Disconnects, glitches, bad gameplay from the servers, the reward structure, skill rating not being explained, rivals points in champs causing people not to play properly. All these types of things, if they can be fixed, FIFA will be a far more enjoyable game and a far better experience to play and grind throughout the week. Boys, if you've got any questions, any feedback, any thoughts, agreements, disagreements with this video, please let me know. Appreciate you watching. Hope you're having a spicy day. Catch you boys later.